Ladies and gentlemen, you know what drains people more than failure? Attention. Constant, unnecessary, unearned attention. The need to be seen, to be heard, to be validated by people who don't even matter. That's the fastest way to kill your energy. You give little pieces of yourself to every opinion, every comment, every rumor, every distraction, and then wonder why you're tired, unmotivated, unfocused. It's because your energy's leaking. You're handing it out like it's free when it's the most expensive thing you have. You can't buy energy. You can't fake it. And once you give it away, you don't always get it back. So protecting your energy isn't just about staying away from negativity. It's about being intentional with who and what you give your time and focus to. Most people don't even realize they're being robbed. Not by thieves in the night, but by conversations they shouldn't have entertained, by arguments that didn't need a response, by people who don't respect their value. Silence is how you get that energy. When you stay silent, you create space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to observe. And in that space, you start to see everything more clearly. Who's real? Who's fake? What matters? What doesn't? You stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. You become harder to read, harder to control, harder to shake. That's power. Silence isn't weakness, it's restraint. And restraint is discipline. And discipline is the foundation of every strong man or woman who's ever built something that lasts. The problem is, people equate silence with weakness, because they're used to loudness being confused with strength. They think if you're not speaking, you're losing. That if you're not explaining yourself, you must be guilty. If you're not defending yourself, they think they've won. Let them talk. Let them think they've figured you out. Let them create their narratives. All the while you're working. All the while you're focused. All the while your energy is building in the background like a storm. And when it hits, you won't have to say a word. They'll feel it. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to explain your every move. You don't need to prove yourself to people who are not qualified to judge you. Every time you speak out of insecurity, every time you defend your decisions to people who wouldn't last a day walking your path, you shrink your own power. You hand them access to a part of you they didn't earn. And when you do that enough times, you start losing track of who you are. You become reactive, not intentional. And a reactive person is easy to manipulate. Energy is not infinite. You only have so much to give every day. You can either pour that energy into building your body, your business, your mindset, your peace, or you can waste it arguing, explaining, reacting. One of those options makes you better. The other drains you slowly until you've got nothing left to give. And then you wonder why you're burned out, why you're angry for no reason. It's because your energy's been bleeding from 100 tiny cuts, most of which you could have avoided by just staying silent. Silence gives you control, and control is the root of all confidence. When you can sit in a room, hear the noise, feel the pressure, and not react. That's power. That's when you know you're not just another person caught in the chaos. You're the one who creates the storm, not the one blown around by it. Silence teaches you how to observe people, how to study patterns, how to read between the lines. Because when you're not so quick to respond, you start noticing everything. You'll see people for who they really are, not who they pretend to be. You'll see who talks just to talk, who projects their insecurities onto others, who's trying to get under your skin, and none of it will affect you. Because you've trained yourself to be still, to be centered, to be focused on things that actually matter. While they gossip, you plan. While they laugh, you build. While they react, you remain calm. Eventually, your silence becomes a statement. People start to feel it. They know something's different about you. You're not flinching. You're not entertaining drama. You're not giving away your peace for free. That unsettles them. And because a focused, silent, energy-protecting person is dangerous. They're unpredictable. They're efficient. They're in control. And control in this chaotic world is everything. It doesn't mean you isolate yourself or never speak. It means you choose when to speak. You choose what deserves your energy. You speak with intention, not emotion. You move with strategy, not impulse. You surround yourself with people who understand your value and don't drain your spirit. You create boundaries so strong that anything that tries to cross them bounces off like a rubber bullet. When you protect your energy through silence, through discipline, through focus, you begin to glow differently. Not loud and flashy, quiet and undeniable. You'll start to walk into rooms and feel the shift. Not because you said anything, but because your presence speaks volumes. You've become someone who doesn't beg for attention, because you command it by how you carry yourself. You've earned respect through action, not noise. So stop leaking energy trying to prove who you are. Stop reacting to nonsense. Stop allowing people to drain you with their chaos. Protect your energy like your life depends on it. Because the life you want depends on it. Don't waste power explaining yourself to people who will never understand your silence. In a world that never stops talking, where everyone has something to say, an opinion to share, or a post to make, there's a quiet power in choosing not to engage. There's strength in the silence. There's clarity in the stillness. You want to win? Then learn to shut up. That's the first step. You're too loud. You talk too much. You tell people your plans before you even take the first step. You go online and broadcast every move like it's some kind of performance. You think that makes you powerful. It doesn't. It makes you predictable, vulnerable, easy to distract, easy to manipulate, easy to stop. There's a reason the most dangerous people in the world are the quietest ones, the ones who say little, observe everything, and move with precision. Because when you're silent, you can finally hear what matters you, your instincts, your drive, your real voice. Underneath all the noise, the world wants your attention constantly. It wants to pull you in 50 different directions, feeding you distractions, trends, gossip, opinion. But when you choose silence, when you turn down the volume of the outside world, you turn up the signal within yourself. That's when the magic starts to happen. That's when you start hearing your true ambition again. Not the one filtered through social media or watered down by your friends' opinions. Your real ambition, the voice that says, I'm built for more. You know why most people never become elite? Because they let the world think for them. Every time they make a move, they need feedback. They need claps, comments, support, approval. Every goal becomes a group discussion. Every setback gets shared like it's some kind of therapy session. And in doing so, they drown out their own voice. They become weak. Because when you rely on the world to validate your path, you're already off course. You don't need to post your progress. You don't need to tell them what you're working on. You don't need to explain why you're moving different. You need to focus. That's it. Focus creates direction, and direction creates momentum. But you'll never find that if you're busy entertaining everyone else. I'll tell you a secret. Most people can't handle silence. Is the ultimate power move, because silence keeps people guessing. It makes them wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're building. And in that uncertainty, you gain control of your time, control of your energy, control of the narrative. You stop giving people chances to shoot down your dreams before they even take off. Let them think you're lazy. Let them think you're not doing anything. Let them assume while they talk, you work. While they sleep, you build. While they laugh, you level up. Because the truth is, you don't owe anyone your roadmap. You don't owe them your strategy. You owe yourself result. You want peace. You want strength. You want to feel powerful without saying a word. Then stop talking and start moving. Stop needing to be seen and start becoming undeniable. When you move in silence, every action becomes intentional. Every step is calculated. There's no wasted motion. You're not performing. You're executing. You'll start to feel it too, that shift. The moment you stop caring about what they think, about who's watching, about who claps, you start to get dangerous. Your energy comes back. Your focus sharpens. Your goals get clearer. You become obsessed with progress. Real progress. Not the illusion of progress. Not posting a picture in the gym. Actually grinding in the gym. Not talking about starting the business. Actually starting it. Not saying I'm working on myself for life. Actually fixing your flaws in the dark. Alone. When it hurts. Silence forces you to face yourself, and most people are scared of that. They don't want to be alone with their thoughts, because deep down, they know they're not doing what they should be doing. They know they've been slacking, compromising, hiding behind excuses. But you, if you really want this, if you really want to become the man or woman you're supposed to be, then you need to sit in that silence. Let it expose your weaknesses. Let it hurt. Then fix them quietly. People won't understand. Let them laugh. Let them question you. That's part of the game. But one day when you're standing where you want to be, when the life you built speaks for itself, those same people will go silent too. Not because you told them anything, but because the results made all the noise for you. So stop explaining, stop defending, stop waiting for permission, focus on yourself, stay silent, and let everything fall into place. Let them hear your silence louder than they ever heard your voice. You want to know why most people never win, why they stay stuck, frustrated, watching others pass them by? It's because they don't know how to focus. They don't even understand what focus means. They think it's just about cutting off distractions for a few hours a day.
That's not focus. That's part-time discipline. That's pretending to be locked in. I'm talking about obsession. I'm talking about waking up every day with a mission on your mind and refusing to get pulled off course for anything or anyone. When you truly focus on yourself, everything changes. And I don't mean in a cliche, motivational way. I mean everything actually starts to shift. Your energy, your results, the way you see the world. You stop wasting time on things that don't serve you. You stop entertaining people who drain you. You stop chasing temporary highs, short-term validation, distractions that are designed to keep you average. You start realizing how valuable your time is, how powerful your attention is, and you guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. You want to elevate, then you have to prioritize you fully, without apology. That means no more chasing things that don't align with your vision. No more watering yourself down to make other people comfortable. No more splitting your focus between what you want and what's easy. You don't get to build an elite life with casual effort. It doesn't work like that. You've got to get serious. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, most people will never feel what it's like to be all in on themselves. They dabble, they try, they and then they wonder why they never break through, why they never see real results. It's because they're not focused. They're distracted by opinions, validation, comfort, and more comfort. But comfort is the enemy of growth. If you want to grow, you've got to get uncomfortable. You've got to be willing to block out the noise, lock in, and stay there long enough to see what you're really capable of. That's the part no one tells you. Focus is not exciting. It's not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's lonely. It's boring sometimes. But that's where the winners are made. In the moments when no one's watching, when the applause is gone, when it's just you, your work and your vision, that's where greatness is built. And the truth is, you won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel like push. But if you're truly focused, your discipline will take over where your feelings drop off. That's what separates the elite from the average. The ability to show up anyway. Focusing on yourself also means removing all the excuses. People love to say they're focused, but they're still blaming their environment, their past, their circumstances, their bad luck. That's not focus. That's victim mentality, and you cannot grow while playing the victim. You've got to take ownership, full ownership. No one's coming to save you. No one owes you anything. If you want a better life, build it. If you want results, earn them. If you want peace, create it. That's the mindset you need. And when you truly commit to yourself, when you pour everything you've got into becoming better every single day, the world has no choice but to respond. Opportunities start showing up. The right people start appearing. Your confidence starts building. Not because you got lucky, but because your focus created the momentum. It's a law of nature. Energy flows where attention goes. And when your attention is 100% locked in on your goals, your growth, your mindset, life shifts in your favor. Slowly at first, then all at once. But here's the thing. You've got to protect that focus like your life depends on it, because the world is built to break it. Every notification, every distraction, every drama, every person who doesn't understand your grind, they'll try to pull you off path. They'll make you feel selfish for choosing yourself. They'll make you second guess your vision. That's when you dig deeper. That's when you cut off anything that threatens your progress. If they don't get it, they don't belong around you right now, period. This is your season to be selfish with your energy, to become obsessed with your potential, to spend more time alone, more time building, more time learning, improving, healing, growing. That's the kind of focus that creates transformation. And guess what? You won't even have to say a word about it. Your results will show. Your energy will change. People will feel it. They'll notice you're not the same, not because you told them, but because you became someone else, someone disciplined, someone serious, someone locked in. That's the real glow up. When your mindset becomes sharper, your habits become lethal, and your presence becomes undeniable. And it all starts with focus, not temporary, not seasonal, total focus. A commitment to becoming the absolute best version of you, no matter how long it takes, no matter who doubts you, no matter how hard it gets. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to hand you permission. The power is in your hands. Focus on yourself so deeply that you become impossible to ignore. You don't need attention. You need obsession.
You know what the loudest people in the room usually have in common? They haven't done anything yet. All talk, all hype, all noise. And the second you look past the noise, you realize there's no substance, no results, no action. Just empty words and weak execution. That's the game most people play now. Speak about what they plan to do, not what they've done. Flash an image, create a persona, post a highlight reel, and pray someone buys into the illusion. But here's the truth talking about the grind. Isn't the grind. Planning isn't progress. Promising isn't producing. The only thing that counts is what actually happens when no one's watching. What are you doing when it's just you and the work? When the cameras are off, the likes don't come, and no one's clapping, that's the moment that defines who you are. The world is full of people announcing their goals like it's breaking news. I'm gonna start this, I'm working on that. Big things coming. No, they're not. They just want the feeling of progress without paying the price. They want the dopamine hit of being seen as ambitious without having to suffer for it. That's not how it works. You can fool people for a little while with words. But results? They never lie. You either have them or you don't. There's no faking that. When you move in silence, something shifts. You stop performing. You stop chasing applause. You stop wasting energy trying to impress people who aren't even in the arena with you. And instead, you start building quietly, consistently, relentlessly, day in and day out, with no need to explain or show off. Because the only thing that matters is what gets done. You want to know why most people stay stuck in the same place year after year. Because they get high off of potential. They confuse talking about their dreams with actually living them. They think announcing their plans is the same thing as executing them. It's not. The grind doesn't care how motivated you sounded on a Monday morning Instagram post. It cares what you did Monday night, when it got hard, when you were tired, when no one was watching and quitting was easier than pushing. The ones who really want it, they don't need to talk about it. They're too busy getting after it. While others are out announcing, they're out executing. While others are trying to look successful, they're becoming it. That's why you never see real players explaining their moves, because they know the results are louder than anything they could ever say. It's easy to talk about discipline. It's easy to talk about sacrifice. It's easy to say you're focused. But are you really living that? Are you waking up early? Are you putting in the work when no one's looking? Are you sacrificing comfort, distraction, approval, all of it, to chase something that's real? Or are you just putting on a show? Let me tell you something. When you let your results do the talking, the world listens differently. You don't need to scream. You don't need to convince. Your progress will walk into the room before you do. Your aura shifts. Your energy becomes undeniable. People respect what they can't ignore. And they can't ignore a person who doesn't just talk success, they embody it. You'll notice this too. The more you do, the less you feel the need to talk. When you're actually working, actually leveling up, actually becoming dangerous, you don't have time for noise. You're not checking to see who's watching. You're not explaining your every move. You're locked in. Your actions are the message. Your transformation is the announcement. Your consistency is the press release. You don't need a stage. You are the headline. And don't get it twisted. This silence, this restraint, this quiet execution, it's not weakness. It's war mode. It's surgical. It's disciplined. Because when you know who you are and what you're doing, you don't need to tell the world. You let the world figure it out when you arrive with results so loud they can't be denied. There's something beautiful about watching people sleep on you. Let them assume you've fallen off. Let them think you're not doing much. That's what makes the reveal hit harder. That's what makes success feel sweeter, because they weren't supposed to see it coming. You didn't broadcast it. You didn't need applause along the way. You kept your head down and built in silence. And when it's time, when the results show, when your bank looks different, your body looks different, your mindset is unshakable, your life is elevated, you won't need to say a word. The transformation will speak for itself. The same people who doubted you will turn silent. The same people who laughed will look confused. Because while they were talking, you were working. While they were distracted, you were focused. And now you're undeniable, not because you told them, but because you showed them. So if you really want to win, stop talking about it. Stop trying to be seen. Stop needing to be understood. Get quiet. Get serious. Do the work. Stack the wins. Keep your mouth shut until the proof is in front of them. And even then, don't say a word. Just keep building. The loudest thing you'll ever say is what you did when no one knew you were doing it. People don't understand how much strength it takes to stay consistent when no one claps for you. They think success is some grand, overnight reveal. That one day you just pop out of nowhere with the money, the body, the lifestyle, the confidence. But that's not how it works. That's the illusion. The truth, success is a result of relentless repetition. Quiet, daily execution, when no one's checking, when no one's impressed, when it's just you versus the voice in your head telling you to take it easy.
Consistency in silence. That's where real power is built. The world has become addicted to quick validation. People want to be rewarded for every step they take. One day at the gym, and they expect to see abs. One business idea, and they expect $1 million payout. One tough decision, and they want people to call them disciplined. But what happens when no one notices? What happens when you show up every day and there's no applause? That's where most people quit, because they don't understand that silence is part of the process. You don't get praised in the beginning. You earn that later, through consistency, through sacrifice, through pain. If you want to become unstoppable, you have to get addicted to the grind, without recognition. You have to fall in love with the reps no one sees, the hours you spend learning, the sacrifices you make when everyone else is chilling, the self-control it takes to walk away from comfort over and over again. That's the stuff that makes you lethal, not the highlight reel, not the one big win. It's what you do when the cameras are off, what you do when no one texts to ask how you're doing, what you do when it's cold, when you're tired, when everything in your body tells you to stop. You become a weapon when you keep showing up in silence. No complaints, no posts, no announcements, just relentless discipline. And the longer you stay consistent, without needing attention, the more dangerous you become. Because you're building something real, something solid, not hype, not illusion. You're not fueled by compliments. You're fueled by standards, and that makes you untouchable. Every great transformation starts in the dark. Think about it. The seed grows underground. The muscle grows during rest. The mind sharpens in solitude. The early stages are always quiet, painfully quiet, and that's where most people fold. They don't want to grind unless someone's watching. They don't want to suffer unless they get credit for it. But growth doesn't care about your ego. It requires discomfort. It requires silence. It requires repetition. Staying consistent when no one sees you is what separates the elite from the average. Because the average need reminders, motivation, someone to hold their hand. The elite, they get it done regardless, because their vision is bigger than their feelings. Their purpose is louder than their excuses. They don't need to be hyped up every morning. They just, let me tell you something about results. They come slow. They come after weeks, months, sometimes years of invisible effort. And most people don't last that long. They tap out because they mistake silence for failure. But the silence is where the real ones get forward. If you can suffer in silence and still stay consistent, that's when the world starts to shift around you. That's when your identity changes. You're no longer just a dreamer. You're a doer. You don't just have goals, you've got habits. And those habits compounded daily are what create the life you want. But here's the truth. Staying consistent in silence is lonely. It's uncomfortable. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if it's even worth it. You'll look around and see people skipping steps, taking shortcuts, getting rewarded for less effort, and you'll be tempted to stop. That's the test. That's where most people quit. But if you hold the line, if you stick to your path while the world distracts itself, you'll end up so far ahead, they won't even recognize you. It's funny how people start to notice when the results show up. Suddenly they act like they always believed in you. Suddenly they want to know your routine, your secret, your method. But where were they when you were doing the hard reps in silence? Where were they when you were doubting yourself, but still waking up early? That's why you can't do this for applause. You can't build your life around attention. You've got to be okay with being your own biggest fan. You've got to learn to validate yourself through your actions, not opinions. That's the most powerful shift you can make when you stop needing external motivation and start running on internal standards. When your drive isn't based on hype, but on who you've decided to become. When you realize that the most elite version of yourself is built on consistency, and the world doesn't need to see the process to respect the result. Eventually, your silence becomes your strength. People will notice, but by then it won't matter, because you'll be too focused on the next level. You won't be looking back for validation. You'll be looking forward for more growth. And the best part, you'll know deep down that you built it all when no one was watching. You didn't wait for applause. You didn't chase attention. You showed up every single day in silence. The loudest proof of who you are is what you kept doing long after everyone stopped watching.